Hello Urban Royal fans and welcome to this week's UR update. First I'll be looking over some of the major stories this week in UR, and this was concerning the new ELO format. Basically what happened was a statement was released by UR concerning this issue on the front page of the site, so if you haven't checked it out already, make sure you do. Basically it stated, from Monday the 20th of June, taking into account the views you expressed through your voting over the past few months, the staff list of permanent ELO bans will be changed to better correspond to the 14 life points and no semi-evolved characters format. Wanda and Charlie will no longer be banned. Yayoi, Sigma, Gil, Kerry and Uranus will be banned. Players' weekly votes will allow you to influence the list of banned characters, so don't forget to vote every week. Happy Game to you all. So you've probably all seen this, guys, and you're probably wondering what the hell does that mean for me, and as well as probably wondering what my opinion on it. Basically what happened is there's kind of a huge forum on it, so you can check that out and everything. Kind of the main issues really, it's kind of a mixed bag really, some people praising it, some people hating it. But I think most of the haters are just basically people who can't use their decks anymore. It's always an issue when you're like a newer player. You only have one deck and stuff, and so for a card to be banned from your deck, it's kind of annoying. So yeah, basically that means there's going to be certain restrictions. So let's talk about each of them, I suppose. So to start off with, they did unban Charlie and Wanda for the Pussycats, but as a consequence to this, Yo-Yo became banned. So actually, I think that's a pretty good trade. It's a good trade-off, I would say. Both fairly good changes with Charlie and Wanda, because previously actually they were useful as unevolved cards, but since actually the unevolved ban has been put in place, actually it's a bit pointless to keep them banned. So yeah, that's pretty good. And also the other thing as well is that Wanda, actually, you could probably argue that maybe Brittany is probably better than Wanda if you wanted to. So actually, even when he is unbanned, you see what I mean. Like when he was banned, people would probably still use Brittany anyway. So actually, it was a bit of a pointless ban in that case. I have mixed feelings over Charlie though, because let's face it, she is a pretty bad dual threat. Because of the -4 damage, minimum 1 with both her abilities and bonus, whatever. So actually it is quite difficult to take on, especially when it has that 8 damage. But she's definitely not overpowered in any kind of way, in the sense that she's hard to beat in any way. She's only got 7 unsupported power for a 5-star, which is crap. So you guys should be okay with that. But the good news is, if you got things like SOB, SOA, that's pretty good against her. So it's not a huge issue, the fact that she is unbanned anyway. So not a huge thing. Except for maybe Yayoi. It's been a bit more controversial on the forums, which is kind of weird actually, because I do think this card is overpowered. 7/6 SOA is definitely difficult to beat, especially when it's only at 4 stars. Her SOA, it's very good. It's just definitely a hard card to beat. On the other hand, actually, you can argue that the Pussycats do lose a vital SOA, so that's very important to mention. And there isn't actually a great amount of cards that can replace her, actually. With actually Veronica being the only one. I don't know, maybe you guys could, comment on that, actually. Whether you think there's other choices they could have. There's Janie, whatever it's named, I don't know what it is. Jane, I have no idea. I'll put a little thing, because I'm so dyslexic that I don't know. And then you guys can put me out my misery by just, bragging about it, how you know how to say it, and I don't. So I'll let you guys feel good about that. It's a bit like when you guys work out what dramatic irony is, and it makes you feel smart, doesn't it? In the same way, you can comment on how I should pronounce words, and you sound pretty good about yourself. You sound pretty good, I bet you do. Anyway, apart from that though, Sigma was also bit the bust. Not bit the bust. What the fuck? I can't read. I am reading off a notepad here. I'm sorry about this. Apart from that though, Sigma has also bit the dust with her poison, which isn't actually surprising because 4 poison is pretty huge, especially in this new life gauge as well. She has been banned for almost 4 months as well, which is kind of not surprising that she's been banned. So I don't see any reason not to have a ban. But I think the other issue though was the banning of Uranus for the Sacrom, and I think a few people up in arms about this. Uranus is definitely a very good card, and let's face it, she's a little overpowered. I even use her in Type 2 Survivor, for God's sake. So if that's not overpowered, then I don't know what is. But whatever the case, the giant 5 -5 damage minimum 1 was definitely big. However, are the Sacrom dead now in ELO? Well, you can argue that they don't have any kind of defensive support capabilities anymore with Uranus being gone. So that's a kind of big argument. But on the other hand, though, they do have other 3-stars, Engraft, what's the other one, Murray, as well as Karina if you wanted to, although I wouldn't really use Karina. Another great card. But there's also Petra at the 4 stars, so I mean you still got a fairly okay-ish Sacrom, but I still wouldn't say it's great. So I mean you guys probably end up avoiding it, unfortunately, which is kind of sad because it's definitely bad when a clan just goes out of fashion just straight away. Like no one ever uses it because of bans, unfortunately, and that was the case with Sentinels, unfortunately, which is why we will forget about Sentinels now. But apart from that, though, Gil is another not surprising release actually, because let's face it, 2 stars that can win you a game is definitely overpowered. So I'm glad that's gone. However, let's face it though, I mean the Junks have lost Rowdy also, so they have lost Rowdy and Gil, but they do have some very good substitutes, so it's not all bad for the Junks. So don't worry too much about it, Junk fans. As for Kerry, this has been probably the most argued against banning actually, because I mean she's on the kind of basis that she's not really overpowered, I would say. 6/6 stats is great and everything, and SOA courage and SOB courage is pretty good. But I think the issue is, because what I don't like about Kerry, and which is why I think she's slightly overpowered, is the fact that she is really unbeatable in the opening. So kind of glad that they got rid of her. But on the other hand though, I mean she wasn't, I wouldn't say, like people were saying Sledge is definitely should be banned, and yeah, I would agree with that. That is definitely a difficult card. But apparently, according to Orpheus, she encouraged this old strategy. Wherever this old strategy is, we'll find out soon, Orpheus. Thank you for this. One day we'll find out what old strategy is. Anyway, apart from that, so a summary of all the bannings. So yeah, that's basically a whole kind of summary of it. Make sure you comment below all your thoughts to these bannings, as well as comment below on what you think should be banned or unbanned. Moving on to more slightly minor news actually. Kreenk LD is back from the legendary missions, so you have until the 10th of July to complete them. The missions themselves are easier compared to the ones that I had to suffer to get my Kreenk, so consider yourself, a lot more well off than I was when I had to do them, because I had to do a mission which was like 20 KOs of 50, and that's just, it's terrible. So apart from that though, that's fairly easy. And also just to mention as well that Harrow LD will still be available till the 26th of June. So if you haven't got them yet, then you guys better get a move on. Final bit of news, or rather advertisements. There is a Cortez Lotto being run by Wado, which will hopefully be celebrating the release of him if he comes out, that is. So prizes will be Cortez if he's released, or a mixture of Berserk cards, which you can see in the prize list. I believe he's also adding more prizes for the more people that join the event. So yeah, I mean, just very quickly on advertisement, guys, if you guys want some advertisement for your events or whatever, just make sure you contact me via PM and I'll sort something out with you. Of course it won't be free, unfortunately, but I probably won't charge very much, so that's pretty good. So yeah, anyway, apart from that though, that concludes this week's UR News Update. So thank you for watching, and make sure you comment, like and subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys later.